Alright, so this is an update on my live stream that I'm working on. So, right now it's going through the security system, 4KS, a computer, and then OBS. So, we changed the computer and we got our CPU down to almost nothing, 2.6. So this is the screen. I still haven't got to get it full screen. So what I did is I took my desktop. I had a smaller, this is an HP Elite desk. It has an i9 in it. And it's with the smaller mini that I had before, the desktop. It was running my CPU, the OBS was running my CPU at like 59%, which was way too high. And the small mini HP Elite desk has a separate power supply. So that power supply was getting too hot. So I had to regroup on it. So now we're running this one here. i9, and I put an i9 in this one. It's running through the security system Zoshi. That's the 4KS there, capture. So I've been working on this. And then I have 2 screens now. But the main thing is I was able to change. I learned how to do this. This has all been a really learning experience for me. Under settings, I learned how to do this. But when I changed it to this desktop, it made a huge difference compared to where it was before. Because see, now I'm only at 3.1, and then I have, so that's quite. But what I did order is a very basic HDMI encoder. I forget the name of it, but it's coming in. It's a cheap one, so this actually works fine now. I haven't been running this 24/7. Eventually I will, but the problem is that little mini and that power supply were too hot. I couldn't run them all night. But now it just changed everything significantly. But we're still going to get the encoder, and then energy-wise, I'll get rid of I won't have to use this desktop. But this is 100%, like 200% better. Now, doing it that way. And then I also put on my little buddy too. He's on here. So I've been splitting the screen. I still haven't got the screens where I really want them yet. But I'll show you. So right now during the day, I just put again, these cameras are not the best. There's an older security system, which is an H.264. There are newer camera systems that say 4K and all that stuff. So eventually, this is the poor man's version, but we're trying to upgrade it within what I have. So if I go to, so the actual camera itself is here. This is Yoshi. Zoshi or Yoshi? I call it Yoshi. Right? The problem with Yoshi or Zoshi is I can't get it to let me do just 2 cameras. It was the goal, what I wanted to do, but I can't seem to get it to do it, is the fact that you have to choose. You'll see here. I can only choose a single or a multi. And then if I go to multi, it gives me 4 channels, but I just want 2 channels, but I can't get 1 through 8, 7 channels, 1 through 8, 4, 1 through 6. I can't get it to do just 1 and 2. So then I get my split screen. So there's my buddy. I call that guinea goggles. This is my buddy. So the problem is I get these 2 screens down below here in the YouTube picture. So I can go to that screen there. There's a way that you can get it to switch. You can start scanning, but it wants to scan all 4 screens in this Zoshi. I have another one that's called a Defender system. So I go back to single. So I could go single to my little buddy, but it won't switch back and forth. Like put this on for a little while and then switch to the other one for a little while kind of deal. That's what I want to do, but I can't get it to do it. This system won't let me do 2 screens. And if I go single screen back to, and that's the older camera inside here for my little buddy. going to make a wider view though. And then this is the better camera I got for the outside of the birds. And of course it only lets me go to 2025. So that's why that hasn't. So the best I can do is a split screen. And then I'll show you, I got my buddy's thing set up here. I got his camera right over there. That's where his camera is. See, his camera's right over there. I'm gonna move it back. So that's my little buddy. But the good thing is I have two more little buddies. And I can get 4 cameras. I don't have 2 other cameras though. So at some point you may see him in the split screen. And then maybe at some point you might see this little guy too. If I can figure out how to finagle something in there. That'll give me 4 cameras. And I have 4 buddies, 4 cameras. 3 buddies actually, and then the outdoor one. So then we can get back to the split screen. But it still doesn't give me that. I'm going to try my other one, which is a Defender. It's a different security system. I'm running it through these older ones. These are the ones I had downstairs in my basement. I'm just basically started with some old tech that I had around. And to see if I could get to this point, which I have. And then the 4KS capture, I had gotten this to anything HDMI to do video games out to Twitch, but I ended up not really using it yet for that. I ended up using it for this for now. When the encoder comes in, HDMI encoder will take this giant big box out of here, and this will come out of here, and I'll have just this in the encoder. Lots less energy, right? That's the goal. And so that's what we can. So can we go there, or we can go to split screen? But I can't do just 1 and 2. I have to go to that. And then what I do is I have to go to OBS and crop out the top 2, even though so it doesn't show the bottom black ones like this. Because see, now if I go to here, and if I go back to OBS now, it's going to split it. See, like that. Which is, crops it pretty good. But you can still see 2 cameras. So that's as far as I've gotten. So I have some restrictions, but see, the main takeaway out of this video is that this desktop got rid of that overheated power adapter because it's all inside. It's got an i9 in it, and the CPU went down to almost nothing. Compared to before, was at like 59%. That little HP Elite desk. This is a G6 HP Elite desk, but I have a mini G6 that was here before with the power supply. So I learned that is a no-go. You need something much better to run. And then I could set the settings for this in OBS. I set the settings way up, and it didn't affect my output at all. CPU usage rather. See, it's 6162 KB, see right there? So it's at a better frame rate and no usage. So that's what we're at now. We're gonna, for during the day, just leave the other one on. Can I just go back here? So all this is. Now back to the. Took me a while to get all this stuff down. We got it now. Now I'm just trying to learn how to tweak it. And eventually I'll get something a little bit better. So I'll go back to single, and we're back there. And that's where we're gonna stay for now. So a little update. When the HDMI encoder comes in, which should be on in a few days, we'll go through that and see how that works, how that sets up. Oh, I also needed to bring over my Wi-Fi box here, which means that I could run Ethernet. Before, that little box was running Wi-Fi, so that might have been a problem too. So now I'm just doing Ethernet, so I think that made a difference too. Because what's going to happen is when when the HDMI encoder comes in, that has to have Ethernet. So luckily I have a spot where I could put my, this was in my room before, now it's here. So that I could run this with just straight Ethernet, and then when the encoder comes in, I'm all set. All I do is pull out the two boxes, that one, put the encoder in, and I got my Ethernet right there, and we're all set. So, pretty fun.